What is up, everybody? Mr. Curtis here. Welcome to Unit 2.4. This is on the Trans-Saharan trade route. Trans, if you don't know, means across something. So to transport a good is to go from port to port, hence the term transportation. Mind blown. This is on circa 1200 to 1450. This is going to be a little bit of a shorter video because there's just some basics here. And we already talked about the Mali Empire in Unit 1. So just a couple things to go through here. One of the shorter videos, which is always good. No one ever complains about that, right? So first thing, if you don't know where the Trans-Saharan trade route is, it is across the Sahara Desert, going from the north into West Africa, as well as into this region here, which is less West Africa and more kind of sub-Saharan Africa. And then some of this trade route went over into East Africa, which is then going to connect to the Indian Ocean trade. Boom, everything coming together. Just a couple things here on the products being traded. For the most part, we do have salt coming up to the north, and as well as some of this salt's going to come down into this region. Gold is going to be really prominent, but we're going to see gold, salt. Also, we're going to see slaves who are going to be captured from parts of these areas in the northern part of the Sahara Desert and come down into West Africa. West Africans, I do just want to kind of, because this is going to come up later, and just something to have now, maybe write this down. There is going to be slavery in West Africa. The slavery is much different than the slavery that is going to be employed by the Europeans in enslaving West Africans and bringing them to the Americas, which is one of the worst human atrocities up there that's ever been committed against people, which is the Atlantic slave trade. But in this case, this slavery is a little bit different. Slavery is slavery, and slavery is a horrible thing, and it's forced labor, and it's awful. In West Africa, slavery was much different. Oftentimes, slaves lived in the house with their masters or with the slave owners in West Africa. And a lot of times, they were able to hold government positions and become officials, which is kind of weird to think about in terms of slavery, as we have learned in the United States, that they were actually, that people who were enslaved were treated relatively well, but they were still slaves. So I do want to point out there is some slavery here in West Africa, and that slavery is going to precipitate, or in a sense, make it okay mentally for some people to sell people from West Africa to the Europeans. So I just want to mention that. In terms of technology and innovation, which has been a key in the Silk Road, in the Indian Ocean, and in this one, you got to have new technologies if you're going to increase your trade. And the two things that are really going to emerge from circa 1200 to 1450 is camel saddles. So you got to be able to ride on your camel. You got to be able to spread out the weight. You need to be able to attach your products to the camel and make sure they don't fall off in the middle of the desert. This is an example of a camel saddle during this time period we're talking about. You can strap things to it. Camels are definitely limited in terms of how much weight they can carry, but they can go a very long period of time without having to rest, roughly about 100 miles. And the other thing is we're going to see these caravans, which is basically just like people traveling with camels. So not every camel has a person on it. I need you to just mentally wrap your mind around that. Like, there's only a couple people traveling with lots of camels, and there could be between 1,000 to 12,000 camels. 12,000 camels, that's insane. And each of those camels is going to be carrying products and goods going across the Sahara Desert. This is a treacherous, horrendously awful trek. I mean, we're talking a long way to go across a desert where you need to have knowledge of where you're going, or else you're just going to end up dying in the middle of the sandy, hot, nasty Sahara Desert. So you got between 1,000 and 12,000 camels in this caravan. As a result of this, like we said before in the past videos, new people are going to be brought into this trade network. New people means new products. New products means an increase in trade. And anytime you can bring new people into your trade network, that's generally a good thing to open up markets to sell more goods and more products. As a result of this, we are going to see the expansion of empires from the result of the sub-Saharan trade or the Trans-Saharan trade. The main one is the Mali Empire. There will be empires that follow the Mali. So this is the Mali Empire right here. Just real quick, just to point out, these are where the gold fields are located. This area here of the Mali Empire will fall around 400. Another empire will emerge and take its place called the Songhai or Songhai, and that will emerge later on. I don't want to go into the Mali Empire too much because we talked about it and you can just say right there, see your notes from 1.5. But they are going to, the Mali Empire, because of this trade route, is going to be able to collect more taxes. There's going to be more people coming in, more revenue, which is going to lead to the expansion of the empire. That's it. That's all I got for this one. Any questions, as always, write it down. Let me know. I'm out.